Hello, everyone. I am Kommera, Principal Salesforce Engineer and Platform Architect at Conf42. I'm excited to be speaking at Conf42 Prompt in the Day in 2025. It's a space where we explore how to make AI systems more reliable and human aligned. My talk today is titled Prompting for Trust. It's about how we as builders can design prompts that make large language models not just accurate, but trustworthy. Because in enterprise AI, trust is the real adoption barrier, and it starts long before deployment. Here's what we'll walk through today. First, we'll look at the trust challenge in enterprise AI. Then we will talk about why trust starts right at the prompt layer. We'll move into 5 core principles for trust building prompts, some real-world case studies, and we'll finish with a roadmap and key takeaways that can apply in own ecosystems. The trust challenge in enterprise AI. In many organizations, LLMs are already running chatbots, co-pilots, and decision supporting tools. But performance alone doesn't create adoption. If users can't explain how or why an LLM reached its answer, they won't act on it. That's the trust gap, an invisible friction that slows AI rollout. You'll see systems technically capable but unused because people don't feel confident in their reasoning. So the challenge isn't about model capability, it's about human confidence. Trust begins at the prompt layer. That's why we instruct the model the way we instruct the model determines how it behaves. 3 areas matter most. Prompt design, where we control how the model frames its answers, cites information, and expresses uncertainty. Context scaffolding, where we give structured content so outputs use enterprise language and comply with regulations. And output format, where we make reasoning visible and easy to validate downstream. So prompt engineering isn't about better responses. It's about designing comprehension, accountability, and alignment into every interaction. Core principles of trust building prompts. Now let's talk about the 5 principles that make prompts trustworthy. Confidence tagging. Ask the model to label outputs as act now, needs review, and seek expert input. Source aware attribution. Make the model cite documents or reasoning sources directly. Adaptive clarification. Let the model ask for more information when the user's intent is unclear. Progressive disclosure. Show high level insights first and then deeper details only when requested. Audit trail integration. Embed metadata into outputs so every decision can be traced and audited later. Together, these principles make the system transparent, accountable, and easier to trust. Confidence tagging in action. Here's what it looks like in practice. Instead of just outputting data, the model says defect rate, moderate, recommended action, inspect the proportion of the batch. Now, the user instantly understands the level of certainty and the next step. It's no longer an answer, it's guided, contextual response. Context tagging gives users permission to act or to validate further with clarity, aligning outputs with enterprise context. One major reason why trust breaks down is context mismatch. Generic LLMs don't understand your organization's vocabulary, regulatory boundaries, or thresholds. So the solution is structured prompting. We inject domain vocabulary like qualified lead or material risk. We embed regulatory guardrails like GDPR or SOC compliant requirements. And then we define thresholds, specifying when to escalate, approve, or send for human review. This ensures that model outputs are consistent with enterprise policies and human judgment. Building building feedback loops into prompts. Trust isn't something you design once, it's something you maintain. That's why feedback loops are critical. When users correct an AI response, that signal can be captured right into that chat or orchestration layer. Then we refine prompts, identify failure models, and then we fine tune models based on real feedback. A trustworthy system doesn't just answer. Here's a case study: lead qualification assistant. Here's a real example. Sales reps are ignoring AI generated lead scores. The issue wasn't accuracy; it was explanation. So we redesigned the prompts to include confidence tags, source citations, and structuring reasoning chains. The result is 71% more follow-up actions and 34% improvement in conversations. Nothing changed in the model, only the prompts. That's the power of trust-centered design. One more case study. Summarization pipeline. With a legal documentation summary, teams refuse to trust AI summaries without rereading every clause. So we updated prompts to add section level attribution and highly ambiguous clauses or deviations with standard templates. Suddenly, the review time dropped drastically and the user confidence rose near 90%. Once people could see where each statement came from, trust followed naturally. This is one more case study. Decision support chatbot. When asked, should we approve this vendor contract? The older version answered immediately. The improved version asked, is this a new vendor or a renewal? What's the contract value? When it checks spend thresholds and compliance before recommending approval, that small shift, gathering missing context first, dramatically increased user reliability and trust. Structured prompting techniques. To make this scalable, we used structured prompting patterns. Schema-driven outputs force the model to respond in JSON or XML. So systems can validate automatically. Chain of thought prompting makes the model show its reasoning before giving the final answer. And conditional instructions handle edge cases. For example, if data is missing, it will ask for clarification. These design patterns create transparency by default. This slide shows the transformation clearly. Before black box outputs, no visibility, no confidence signals, low user engagement. After, transparent reasoning chains, source attribution, confidence tagging, and context awareness. When you treat prompt layer as a design surface, not a technical input, you turn LLMs from opaque responders into trusted collaborators. Now looking at the implementation roadmap. Here's how to get started in your own environment. Step 1. Audit current prompts. Find where ambiguity or opacity creates trust gaps. Redesign for transparency. Add tags and clarification triggers. Test with real users. Validate comprehension and usability. And iterate based on feedback. Keep refining instructions to close learning loops. Trust is not a feature, it's a continuous process. So the key takeaways. Trust is designed. You can architect transparency, accountability, and alignment through intentional prompt design. Context is critical. Structured prompting users puts reflect your enterprise vocabulary and policies. Feedback drives improvement. The most trusted systems evolve with user input. And finally, users trust what they understand. When we combine confidence tagging, attribution, and progressive disclosure, your AI stops being a mystery, it becomes a reliable partner. Thank you for your time and attention to this Conf42 prompt in 2025. I'm Raj Kommera, and I hope these ideas help you design prompt strategies that earn trust, not just accuracy. Feel free to connect and continue the discussion on building transparent human aligned LLM systems. Thank you very much.